All right, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to MMA Adventures. I know I took a little bit of a break, but we're gonna be back now, pumping out some videos. Um, I'm gonna do these videos a little bit differently than I would normally. Basically, I'm not gonna go over the whole card like I normally would. I'm just gonna be going over like a featured fight, maybe like Alonzo Minifield and Fabio Charant. That's gonna be a banger of a fight. But I think for this card, I'm just gonna go over the top three, which is Thomas Almeida and Sean O'Malley, Tyron Woodley, Vincent Luque, and then Stipe and Francis. So just to jump into it, let's go over here to Sean O'Malley and Thomas Almeida. So both of these guys coming off a loss, allegedly. O'Malley doesn't think he lost, but he did. He did lose. Unfortunately, he did lose his last fight to Chito Vera, which, hey, that's not a knock on Sean. I mean, it was kind of a freak accident, I guess you could say, when you look at it. But I feel like a freak accident is like, okay, kind of. I don't even think you could say. Well, Silva and Weidman was kind of a freak accident. I'm trying to think. Carlos Condit and Tyron Woodley, that was a freak accident. Like that doesn't happen often, but at the same time, Tyron was throwing leg kicks when it happened. So the same thing happened with Sean. The whole fight, Cheeto was taking out his legs and really just picked apart picked apart the legs, kept kept kicking it. It's not like he accidentally threw a kick and then that's what ended the fight. He meant to throw the kick. So regardless of what Sean says, he has lost one fight, which hey, it, it's not that big of a deal. There's tons of champs that have lost. Kamaru Usman's lost. Now you have Israel who's lost his first fight. So it's no knock on him. He could just accept the loss and move on. Um, Thomas Almeida, on the other hand, I believe he's lost. He's only won one out of his last four fights. So I'm kind of confused about this fight because I know Almeida at one point was a monster. He was like 19-1 or 20-1, something like that. Then he fought Cody Garbrandt. Let's actually pull up his record real quick just so we can see who he has lost to. And it's not like he's losing to nobody. He's like Jonathan Martinez is a beast, Rob Font's a beast, Jimmy Rivera's no slouch. Um, yeah, so after he lost to Garbrandt, he kind of just went downhill from there, as you could see, and then he took 2 years off after the Rob Font loss, and still lost to Jonathan Martinez. Like I said though, like look at the level of people he's fighting. When he's losing, um, and he's beat some good guys, Brad Pickett, um, you know, Anthony Burkhart. So not like he's was just beating scrubs and then just got like lucky, but he lost to Cody Garbrandt. This was a fight that really was going to solidify who was going to be the next champion, and obviously I think after this fight Garbrandt actually fought for the belt. I'm almost certain that's what happened. Um, but yeah, it's tough, man. It's tough. I'm kind of disappointed that the UFC did this for O'Malley because they're kind of doing him a solid by giving him somebody who's on a losing streak. It's a good way to build up O'Malley. Don't get me wrong, but I would love to see O'Malley bounce back and fight somebody in the top 15 because if I'm not mistaken, Sean should be in the top 15. But yeah, looking at Sean, his last few wins, aside from the Cheeto loss, he beat what the heck? He beat Eddie Wineland. He beat Quinzaros. So it's like he's beating these people that aren't really that great. Um, but yeah, going back to O'Malley, he's lost. He's beat a lot of people, but like I think his most impressive win is probably Spencer Ware. Even though Spencer Ware is not probably in the UFC anymore. I haven't heard much from him, to be honest. But yeah, I mean, I, I'm kind of disappointed because he's such a big hype. He has so much hype behind him that they're gonna give him Thomas Almeida, who's like I said, he's lost his last three, and he's 1-4, 1-4 in his last five, I believe. Yeah, that makes sense. But yeah, hopefully a good fight, good matchup there. Moving on to Vicente Luque and Tyron Woodley. So a lot of people, I was listening to MMA on the line where they talk about betting odds and stuff, and they were like, "Oh yeah, bet on Tyron, bet on Tyron." Look, I like Tyron Woodley. I'm a fan of Tyron Woodley. He's lost what his last 15 rounds. Like he got dominated by Kamaru, got dominated by Gilbert Burns, and now dominated most recently by Colby. Um, Maybe it's not 15 rounds because I think Colby finished him in the third or fourth. um, maybe even the fifth. So it might be 15 rounds. I don't know, but regardless, it's tough because Vincent Luque, he gets hit a lot. Tyron could hit you and put you out. So it's a very pick 'em matchup. I know the odds are way in Luque's favor, but don't count Tyron out in this fight. I mean, obviously Vincent is he he's good. He beat Rodney Brown or Randy Brown, not Rodney Brown, or Randy Brown, Nico Price. He had a close fight with Thompson, not really close, but a battle versus Stephen Thompson. Um, beat Perry. So he's beaten some great guys. Barbarian. God damn, that man looked like a freaking. Uh, he looked like a real Viking, huh? Brian Barbarian. I can't say his last name. Whatever. He beat Jalen Turner, who's a good prospect coming up. Oh yeah, he beat Nico Price a long time ago too, so they just rematched. Um, but yeah, this fight's really close for me. A lot closer than the odds are saying. I mean, obviously, yeah. So it was the fifth round. So Kobe beat him 5 rounds to nothing. Um, Burns beat him 5 rounds to nothing. Usman beat him 5 rounds to nothing. So it's like, do we see the Woodley that fought Till come back, or do we see the Woodley that's fought the last 3 times? That's what it really comes down to. And I think we see the Woodley that fought the last 3 times. I mean, I don't think Vincent dominates him. I think it's a lot closer of a fight than 5-0, because Vincent doesn't have that. Luque doesn't have that style that Burns, Usman, and everybody else possessed. So my gut says go Luque, but you could throw a few dollars on Tyron and maybe make some money. Who knows? But I would for this fight I'd pick Vincente, sorry. And for the main event, the baddest man on the planet title is being defended once again by Stipe Miocic, who is coming off a win against Daniel Cormier. Uh, you have Francis Ngannou, who's been looking unstoppable, but this is the whole thing. This happened before. This fight's already happened. So the fight happened, and it was the same narrative, right? Oh, Francis is on this crazy streak. He's knocking everybody out, and he's gonna destroy Stipe Miocic, and it's all this and that. And it's like, I don't know if that's gonna happen, because I don't think Stipe got any worse. I do think Francis got better, but is it enough to close the gap on Stipe? Um, if you go back, you know, so you go back to his debut in the UFC, and he beat up Henrique. He beat Blades. I'm not gonna try to pronounce that name. I'm not. He beat Anthony Hamilton by submission. So he was on this tear where he was just destroying everybody, and they were like, "Oh, it's time. He's gonna knock out Francis, or he's gonna knock out Stipe." And then Stipe just showed the experience level, the skill, the difference between Ngannou and him, and then bouncing back with a terrible fight against Derek Lewis. Now, it wasn't 100% Francis's fault, because obviously it takes two. You have two people that are in there fighting, and Lewis didn't really put up the best fight, and Francis didn't really throw any punches, so it was kind of just a boring decision loss. That I'm sure Francis wants to get back, and I'm sure, you know, heavyweight's crazy right now. Heavyweight's crazy right now. But then he beat Blades again. He beat Velasquez, Dos Santos, destroyed Rosenstrike. Going into this fight, he's looked really impressive, and he looks like, but it's the same narrative. It's the same thing. Oh, he beat all these guys. He beat all these guys. Then you go over to Stipe, right? You know, so Stipe won the belt against Fabricio Verdum, right? He knocked out Fabricio when Fabricio was rushing at him because he thought, oh, I got this one in the bag, right? Then he knocks out Overeem. Then he knocks out Dos Santos. Then he decisions Ngannou. Then he gets knocked out. So he fought in January, then fought in July. This is the thing that kind of scares me. He fought in January, then got knocked out in July because he took a lot of damage. He took a lot of damage in this fight, um, against Ngannou, and then got knocked out by DC. He then beat DC and then beat DC again recently. But look at August 15th, right? Oh, sorry, DC. Or sorry, sorry, DC. But he knocks him out. or he beats him by decision, and then again the same. It's kind of the same distance from when he fought Francis to when he fought DC. So does he go into this fight with that same like damage, and he ends up getting knocked out? I hope not. My money would be on Stipe. He's an underdog. Why would you make the champion an underdog? I know how dominant Stipe or Francis has been, but it just doesn't make any sense to me. My pick is Stipe, probably by submission, late submission. But that's about it, man. Thank you guys all so much for watching. I know I'm just doing the 3 fights, but I feel like I make the videos a little quicker, and I'll be able to put more time and effort into each fight rather than trying to do the whole card in like 10 minutes. So thank you guys for watching. Leave a like, and I'll see you guys next time.